Good morning, Tallahassee. It's time to wake up Warchant on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant, 97.9 ESPN Radio, brought to you by For the Table Hospitality. And there are three great locations over in the College Town District: Central, Madison Social, and Township. You already know our names, but just once more, it's been a few days. I'm Aslan. He's Corey Clark, senior writer and columnist for Warchant.com. Hey, man. I can see you right now. It's awesome,
nice?
man. It's so
it's
great,
nice to be in
man.
the studio, see that smiling face.
Man, feeling good. I'm already jacked up, man. What's going on? We have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So there's a whole bunch of questions on the Renegade Express.
Oh, that's today we're doing that. That's right.
You know, between you and I and the thousands, maybe creeping up to millions of people that listen to the program.
Right. Slowly creeping there.
Thursday in television, Thursday was always the higher viewership night for local news, was Thursday nights. Thursday nights were like our big-time show.
Wouldn't that be because of the TV that was on that night, like the Cosby Show?
I think so. It's just, well, also,
Cheers.
You know, Thursday, everyone's kind of staying up a little bit later because it's Friday the next day. So
right. A little juicier.
Yeah. So I think, we're good doing this Renegade Express on Thursday because everyone's listening.
Right.
If we did it on Friday, some people don't go to work on Friday. They skip out, so they're not going to download the podcast that day.
Okay. All right.
I think this is the best time to, maximize our footprint. But we'll get to all that, I guess, in segments 2, 3, and 4, and maybe in overtime, Corey, unless we can skedaddle really quickly.
We'll go real quick through.
Yeah, there's stuff going on. Let's go macro before we go micro. I guess let's talk big picture NCAA stuff. So,
oh yeah, right, yeah.
First off, we'll get to the juicier thing in a second. Did you see this? So 3 more bowl games will be added in 2020. This is according to Brett McMurphy.
Right.
43 total bowl games if you include the title game. 42 if you don't. That means that 84 teams, 65% of all FBS teams are going to go to a bowl game in 2020.
Yep, that's where we're heading, right? That's where we are.
But I thought, TV numbers and people cutting cords and where's the money and, I mean, who's going to watch these bowl games on December 19th? And
well, we'll see how long these
Albuquerque.
Things last. I guess we'll just see how long these last.
They just change names. They never leave, though. Like in St. Pete, it was called the Beef O'Brady's Bowl, and now it's called just the St. Petersburg Bowl because nobody wants to sponsor it.
Is the Emerald Bowl still a bowl? Did that turn into something else?
It's something else. I think there's still a bowl game in San Francisco. I'm pretty sure. I can check that out real quick while you opine on things.
Maybe they just never go away. They just change names.
So do we need to start looking things almost? Do we need to put like a line of delineation or like a line of demarcation and start, instead of looking at maybe bowl streaks? Like, is 10 wins now, considering that 65% of teams are going to play a minimum, unless weather comes and does something crazy, a minimum of 13 games?
Right.
Anything under 10 wins is not, I mean, if you're serious about football, anything under 10 wins is not a good season.
Well, just think about it. It's like college baseball in the sense back when they used to play 70 games a season, 40 wins wasn't that big a plateau. Well, now it is because you only play 55, 56 games. You're guaranteed, Florida State sometime this year played, 60, and they won 40 of them. It used to be they'd play 75 or 80. So 40 wins is a different accomplishment now, and I'd say the same thing about 10 wins. Like Florida State's, what would you say, the 1988 season, they went 11-1. That's different than 11-3. I mean, you just can't. It's a different accomplishment. It's like when you lose once as opposed to 3 times, that's a much better season. So, yeah, I do think you need to start. I don't know if there will be like an official line of delineation, but yes, 10-win seasons don't have the value they used to because you're playing at least one game more, and many times 2 or 3 games more than you did back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, well, 9 was nothing to be ashamed of. Like 9 wins was very good. Now 9 wins is.
Well, I don't think 9 would be. If Florida State goes 9-4 this year, it's nothing to be ashamed of. I don't think, but it's not anything to boast your chest. Yeah, beat your chest about either, as opposed to not 9-2. Which would have been the record back in 1988 or 89 or 96. 2
of the 3 bowl games, according to Brett McMurphy, one will be held in Chicago, which will be a Big Ten versus ACC bowl matchup, and then Myrtle Beach.
Wrigley Field?
I don't know. Maybe wherever the
Soldier Field.
Yeah. That'd be cool if they played in Wrigley Field. I mean, they do the Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium.
But also, I don't know that it's all that pleasant at Myrtle Beach in December.
It gets facetious. I mean, Myrtle Beach, come on.
Well, but also, I understand maybe that's an appealing destination. But I've lived in Georgia all my life in December, and it can be really cold. Oh, yeah. And Myrtle Beach is north of that. Yeah. I think it might be just east.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's a little north. I mean, South Carolina's on top of Georgia.
Yeah.
It kind of goes to the side a little bit, too. So there's a little, I don't know my geography that well. But either way.
We don't know the latitude.
There's a good chance nobody's going to be on the beach at Myrtle Beach December 9th when Miami of Ohio is playing UTEP.
Yeah, it's bizarre, man. So that's what they're going to do. Otherwise,
but hey, it's football, right? You just don't have to watch if you don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, everyone says, like, remember this when there's no football on and you're complaining about bowls.
But obviously, also bowl streaks aren't nearly what they, having an active bowl, having a 12-year bowl streak isn't that big a deal because literally half the country goes to a bowl every year.
Well, I saw one of my Mississippi State friends was talking about that. He's like, hopefully we're going to stop using this whole consecutive bowl metric. And it's like, well, it's kind of different.
You started it in 82.
Yeah, kind of different, guy.
It's different than starting it in 2006.
Gosh, I hope they go 0-2 in Omaha. If they win it.
How about Mississippi State? We were talking about that on headlines yesterday that, man, they were 1 out away from their season being over.
Strike. You had them down in 2 strikes.
That's crazy. You know what? It shows you got to get all 27 outs in baseball, everyone.
Well, the Florida State's same boat. Last year, Dylan Busby down last strike. They made it all the way to Omaha, and then they won a game.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, but they
were so close to going 0-2. Yeah. And that guy's an interim coach that was going to be literally his last game he was the head coach, and now he's in Omaha. What if they win it? He's the new head coach at Mississippi State.
There's only one thing left to do.
Yeah, maybe they're stripping off a piece of clothing every time they win a game.
Maybe off the lady that slept with their former baseball coach. Well, by the way, there was no financial impropriety. It was just simply they just didn't like the moral turpitude or the moral ramifications of their baseball coach sleeping with somebody that worked for the university.
All right, well.
I dug in a little further.
Well, good. That's a good job.
All right.
Good job by you.
The bigger rule, obviously, I guess, is this whole red shirt rule. And I saw you retweeted Justin Fuente, head football coach.
Well, I just retweeted Virginia Tech to take a shot at their football account.
First off, it almost read, was he serious? So they're going to let kids, if you want to leave, you can leave. Transfer-wise. If you want to leave, you can leave. You'll put your name. A coach can't block you. A school can't block you. Your name will be put into a database, and then coaches can reach out and talk to you. The tweet that you retweeted had some sort of weird language in there from Fuente about, I agree with it. Later in the season when attrition kicks in, I think this will be a good thing. So, like, what? This is the waiver wire? You can pick up a kid in November?
No, I think he was talking about the redshirting rule, the new rule about redshirting.
Oh, okay.
The kids can play 4 games. And still be a red
Was
shirt.
that not the law of the land?
No, you would have to lie about an injury. You'd have to say, he played 4 games and then he hurt his ankle or something.
Oh. See, I always thought it was...
But also, I think it was...
The first few games.
I don't think it could be like you could play the last 4 and still redshirt. It had to be one of the first few games of the season, and then it was an injury. But now the rule is that you can play any 4 games of the season and still get a red shirt and still come back next year as a redshirt freshman, which is a fine rule. I don't quite understand why it was never that way. Yeah. Because he's right. There are times where, Jimbo always said that everybody should have 5 years to play 4. Like you should have 2 freshman years and just play as much as you want because of the attrition. And, you don't want to burn a kid's red shirt for 2 games and then not have them in 3 years when you could have really used them. But now that I guess, won't really be the case.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of
2 stories conflated. My apologies.
No worries. But I'm trying to think of a way that when that would have been applicable for Florida State in the last few years where they would have used.
Throw in Jameis in 2012 against the Gators. So putting in,
Yeah, or Francois in the bowl game against Houston instead of JJ. Something like that. Yeah, exactly. But that's a great point. So say when EJ gets hurt against Florida or just keeps throwing it to them, you say, you know what, I'm tired of seeing this.
Yeah.
Winston, not that it would have mattered because he went pro after 2 more years anyway, so you're not really saving a lot there. But you wouldn't have been worried about burning his red shirt by saying, hey, man, you got the second half. Go. Yeah. Go. So, that's a good point. That's a good one. I'm trying to think of another one, but that's a really good one.
So that makes sense. All right, so the red shirt rule, I got that conflated. Obviously, again, as Corey mentioned, they can play any 4 games and still be able to red shirt. I think they need to also maybe come up with another term in terms of Jimbo's idea of giving them 5 years to play 4. Because I hate saying red shirt. I hate putting an adjective on
They
there.
do have 5 years to play 4, but letting them play 5 years.
Okay,
they get 5 years of eligibility to play.
Instead of saying Jameis was a red shirt freshman when he won, let's just call him a sophomore, and then either give a new name to your first year on campus, but it's always been a freshman.
First year, like at Virginia, they don't call him freshman; they call him first year, second year, third year.
And then your second year, do you call him a freshman though?
I guess.
So that's what I think. I don't like saying red shirt. I just want to be he's a junior. Like the
but
guy
that's kind of the beauty of college football. You get to throw a red shirt in there every now and again.
I mean, I think it just then you start things get murky or whatever. But we need to think of that. Maybe we'll put that out to the people on Renegade Express. Come up with a name that for either the fifth-year senior, so we don't.
What about like freshmore?
No.
In between your freshman and sophomore year.
They didn't call like the senior, your fifth-year senior, like your DeMarcus Christmas. Your fifth-year senior needs to be called something besides senior. It needs to be just called like I don't know, like your silver. Or something like
silver. Okay,
I don't know, something like that.
You think that's better than redshirt senior?
Just something,
something right. Old senior.
I'm all about an economy.
Young senior, old senior.
Yeah, whatever. All right, man. So those are the things that are going on in our sport of college football, which we love and adore. So, and then the transfer thing, obviously, which I tripped all over myself. So now guys can transfer. Schools, coaches can't stand in the way anymore. It's you want to go, all right. Don't let the door hit you.
Yeah, but quite honestly, that wasn't that big a problem. They still have to sit out the year.
But that's because we don't of what we know. I mean, how many conversations have happened at numerous universities across the country when players want to go and ask for a release, and a coach is like, no. You know,
well,
I think
right.
this takes a stigma away.
Sure, but even if you weren't released, you could still leave and go wherever you wanted. You just had to sit out a year. And you couldn't be. I guess the rule was you couldn't be on scholarship that first year while you were there because you were still beholden to the other school. But now you wouldn't be. But still, mostly the bad PR had gotten to a point where schools were just letting it was just happening. They could transfer. Now there's no doubt. You say I want to leave, and then you leave, and you put your name in a database. That's going to be weird though because you're going to be recruiting kids off other teams. You know, it says a coach can reach out to you on a national database. Well, all right. Well, I'm going to call the 3 kids at Florida and tell them to come here.
It goes into effect on October 15th. Just imagine all the chaos crazy, going in Tallahassee last year on October 15th.
Yeah.
And then the names that would start popping up in that database and who has
access to the database, I wonder.
Sure,
do we get it? Does the media get it?
Probably no. We need to figure out some way to get a dummy account, burner account.
Right. I don't need a burner account. I just log in as Corey Clark.
Like imagine just Nick Saban just coasting 6-0, 5-0 on October 15th and just like, ooh, this LeBourne kid from Florida State wants to leave Tallahassee?
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you guys get a look at that? I'm gonna go on the lake for the bye week. Why don't you guys go down there and reach out to the kids? See what he wants to do.
I don't feel like Saban. Do they get? You covered that program. They don't get a ton of transfers, do they? Because they don't need them.
No, they all leave them.
Ain't many of them leaving that program, and the ones that do. I mean, I guess
nothing ever good happens.
Except the kid that went to Tennessee, right? The running back who was really good at the Saints now.
Oh, Jesus. Alvin Kamara?
Yeah, he was a good one. But they were still pretty good at that position without him. And, I don't think they need a lot of transfers. They're not stocking up on transfers. They just get the best high school guys and build them up. Yeah. But, I mean, that's going to be interesting how that all is going to work. But, whatever, man. If the kid wants to leave. They shouldn't be. I've just never thought it was all that fair. Like, it's just not all that fair for coaches to get to leave on a whim and not have to sit out at all. Like Jimbo's coaching Texas A&M this year, and he had a contract for years, and he got to break it and go coach at Texas A&M. These scholarships are 1 year renewable, and kids would be, you can transfer, but you can't go to these schools.
Yeah,
we don't want to play you, so you can't go to these schools. Sign this, and you can go right away. Well, man, Jimbo could have gone to Florida if he wanted to. He could have gone to Wake, Syracuse. I mean. There was nothing against him going to one of those schools on Florida State's schedule. So should there be one against Florida against the player?
Jimbo and Winston-Salem.
That would be something, right? Holy moly.
Jeez. All right, let's go ahead and let's let the people drive it from here on out. Renegade Express will take your questions via the thread over on the Tribal Council from our subscribers, as well as the telephone line, 850-7-YAKS-30. So it's 792-5730. No.
And YAKS.
YAKS 30.
YAKS.
Yeah, YAKS. Yeah. 850-792-5730.
All right, you did that off your dome.
No confidence.
You're not even looking at anything.
Let's go to break. Come right back. Wake Up Warchant, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You're locked in to Wake Up Warchant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Wake up. Welcome back. It's Wake Up Warchant, 97.9 ESPN Radio. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Show's brought to you by For the Table Hospitality. Don't forget, folks, Friday, tomorrow, the Father's Day special on warchant.com runs out. FSU Dad is the promo code. You can get up to 6 free months, a $50 gift card, and a tumbler. For more details, go over to warchant.com. I think it's a stainless steel tumbler. I don't know why we would leave that out. That's a very important adjective when trying to sell this thing. So get on out there. Join the fam, or, renew.
Join the council. Get up on that council, man. A lot of good stuff happens there.
I'm going to try to reach out to our own Michael Langston, see if we can get him on the program tomorrow to talk recruiting. There were several questions that I saw in the mailbags about recruiting that maybe we can't get to with the most sophisticated and nuanced answers.
Or knowledgeable.
Yeah, just a little bit of that stuff.
We're not really knowledgeable with that stuff.
Shout out, though, to Akeem Dent, longtime Florida State commit defensive back, a.k.a. Do-It-All Dent, a.k.a. Sauce Magic. He is now a 5-star, according to Rivals.com.
Is that really his nickname, Sauce Magic?
Yes, he goes by both. He's like Do-It-All Dent and Sauce Magic. I asked him. It's on the video that I did with Michael. If he would watch my videos, but
sorry,
watch my videos. I read your columns. You don't read my.
I'm sorry. I'm going to get better at that. I've seen a few of them. They're all really good. Everybody, join Warchant and watch Aslan's videos. They are good. They're really well done. They're professional.
He's never seen any of them. But though, so we didn't have a show the past few days because I was in Sarasota covering Willie, and then I got back in town late. There will be a video dropping this morning about Willie's sort of a quasi homecoming, I guess you could say that. You should like if you're into the whole fuzzy, loving, I love our new head football coach, I can't wait, and all that sort of stuff. I just want something bad to happen because I need something to be mad about. It's just right now there's just everything's fun and happy. It's boring.
I feel like if your name Akeem Dent is a cool name. That's a football name. That's a cool name. You don't need a nickname, much less two.
I mean, Do-It-All Dent's pretty sweet. So is Sauce Magic.
Sauce Magic?
Come on, Sauce Magic's pretty badass.
I don't even. Not magic sauce.
Sauce Magic.
Sauce Magic.
Yeah.
I showed you my magic sauce a couple nights ago, didn't I?
Let's go to the questions. Nate's 1017. What's up, guys? Nice shout out to Defuniac 2 Fridays ago. I live there. If y'all make a trip to Pensacola, hop off 10 and grab a pub burger from Ed's Restaurant. He doesn't sponsor the show, but all right, sure, whatever. Anyways, I want to know what y'all think about this Dent kid. Oh, look at that. Who's supposed to come in
you talking
if
about
all
Sauce
goes
Magic?
well. Yeah. Do you think he'll project better than Asante Samuel? I believe Samuel could potentially be a different version of Taylor. Just curious your thoughts on the kid. Thanks for my late night podcast. And Corey, keep dropping the knowledge. Aslan, keep on keeping on, brother. You'll catch her one day. Take it easy. Nate, thanks.
Nice. Good job, Nate.
Appreciate you. Yeah, I don't know how he compares Asante Samuel.
How big is he? Can you look him up? What are his
measurables?
Yeah.
Certainly, man. I can do something like that for you. But the thing is,
I'm going to guess 6 foot 180.
That's usually a good bet. How about 6 foot 170?
Is that what he is?
Yeah.
All right. So not the biggest guy in the world, and if he's listed as 6 foot, that probably means he's 5'10", 5'11". So
he seems. I saw him. He seems legit. I don't think there's too much fudge in there.
Okay.
Yeah. I buy it.
I'm more worried about the quick twitch fiber, the fibers.
He's smooth, dude. He's so smooth. Asante Samuel, meanwhile, is listed at 5'10", 164 in the Rivals database.
So neither one of them are huge kids, but they're going to get bigger. They're teenagers. They're
Yeah.
17, 18 years old, so they'll get bigger.
I will say, Akeem Dent, looking at him, he's going to be able to put on, between 7 to 12 pounds over the course of his career. Now, I know people want everyone to turn into monsters and put on 25 pounds and just listen, let's just put some lean weight on these kids. But he's just smooth. He's so fluid. I watched him in practice, and it wasn't any sort of live bullets he was taking, but first of all, he's got really good ball skills. His ability to turn around and locate the ball and track it. He's got really good hands. He has that attitude you need to play defensive back.
Right.
And, I mean, just the way he, just his back pedal into his transition to open up his hips and then turning around it was just smooth. You could just see there were some other kids on that team that had some potential at Palm Beach Central, but you're like, well, this kid, he just cut different. I mean, he's from a different he's cut from a different cloth than just from Draymond Green. But, yeah.
And obviously I guess you say he's a 5-star now. He's like the highest rated recruit that's committed to them yet. Though I'm sure they'll get a few more, but that are 5 stars. But, man, you just never quite know until they get here.
Right.
You just never know. It seems to me the 5-star DBs that have come into Florida State have all pretty much panned out, in recent years. Joyner, Darby, McFadden.
I don't think Darby was a 5-star.
But he was one of them he was.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah. And
Jalen,
Derwin. I mean, they all kind of pan out.
Yeah.
That maybe for whatever reason that position is a little more easy to analyze and rank correctly than obviously like an offensive lineman or sometimes a quarterback. You just don't know if he's going to get the game. Yeah. So, if the people that do these kind of rankings now, they have their finger kind of on the pulse of who's going to be a really good college DB. And so there's no reason to think this guy won't be. It's just, Levante Taylor was a really big time prospect, and he's a good player.
Yeah.
Stanford Samuels, I think, is going to be a really good player. So, they usually hit. They don't have a lot of busts when it comes to these guys. You could really almost say McFadden, and McFadden led the country in interceptions one year. Mm-hmm. So, they do pretty well with the 5-star DBs.
But we'll remember that question, Nate, when we get Mike Langston on the show, and he can maybe give us some better info on things. Wes Duvalnil, I actually got to meet this gentleman. He came for the celebration of the softball team of the Champions Club. But I'm like, do you live in Jacksonville? You just rep Jacksonville? Like, no, I do. I mean,
that was nice. He drove over.
Yeah,
for the
Running Knoll. Deb, she's another big time for us. She came to the whole thing that we had before the Garden and Gold game up in the Champions Club as well, where we talked and stuff. Like, they live in Like, I feel really inadequate when I hang out and talk to our subscribers because I'm like, man, like, you guys are bigger Seminoles than I was. Like, I want to drive 2 hours. 3 hours ago to the
that'd be like I'm sure there are people that were interested in like how the celebration went and they want to watch the video, but to actually drive over, man, that's a cool deal.
No, they did it
for them.
He asked, since it's the dog days of summer, he's going to ask a few bucket list type questions related to sports. First, most people's favorite on here, college football. Over the next few weeks, I will cover other sports, so don't go into those venues, please. Stadiums. What college football stadium would you like to watch a game at in person before you kick the bucket? This can include bowl games and can include it even if Florida State is not necessarily playing in it. Which of the ones you have already been to, other than Doak, would you recommend to somebody else to go to if they get a chance? What do you think might be the most underrated football bowl or stadium? He says Rose Bowl. Rose Bowl or
underrated?
No, he would just say his favorite is like the Rose Bowl. He would like to go to Notre Dame in November, and he thinks Army, Navy, regardless of where they play, would be another one that'd be great.
That's probably the one. I've been lucky enough because of my dad, and then obviously my job. I've gotten to go to. I think I've hit pretty much every big time school that you would want to go to: LSU, Michigan, Florida, Clemson, Rose Bowl, maybe Washington because they have the boats that come in.
Go Knoxville cool for that.
Yeah, and I've been there. So I think the Army Navy is the one that I haven't been to that I would like to go to, and I'd like to take Brady to that because that seems like the one college football game where there won't be fights in the stands, even though a lot of them are soldiers. Yeah. There's a healthy respect. We hope
classy people.
As far as I was going to say the Rose Bowl. I think that place. I was blown away by just the setting of that beautiful place. It was really nice. It's weirdly positioned in like a neighborhood by a golf course. It's bizarre. It's like a windy road to get in there, but it opens up, and then you got the mountains in the background. The weather is incredible. So that would probably be the one.
Yeah, that's the best one I've ever been at. Where I haven't gone, there's a lot of places I haven't gone. I never went to Jordan Hare. I did want to go see the Iron Bowl there this past year, but really? I let my other guys go.
I've never been to Alabama.
It's overrated.
I was going to say it's not.
It's just stealing.
I feel like
concrete.
It's not even overrated. Nobody really talks about it much.
There's no
special
character
place.
to it. I want to go to Knoxville. I'd like to see like the Gators lose to Tennessee in Neyland with like 110,000. I'd like to go. I've never been to the Big House. I think Big House obviously.
You been to Notre Dame?
Yes, I was there in 2003.
Oh, there you go. I love that place,
one.
man. That's a neat campus. It's just a neat place.
I've never been between the hedges, brother.
Well, you need to get there.
There's a lot that I need to go to. It's tough for me to pinpoint it to one. Honestly, I'd like to go to the Red River Shootout. I'd like to see a game in the original Cotton Bowl in December when it's getting sleeted and hailed on just to feel like a man.
Okay.
I would like
There's other ways you could feel like a man than get sleeted on.
Right there.
That just gets sleeted
Dallas, the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
There's a nice
cowboy hat with some chew.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's how I'd roll, man. That's what I'd like to do. Let's step aside for a moment. We'll be right back. It's Wake Up Warchant 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome back. It's Wake Up Warchant 97.9 ESPN Radio here in Tallahassee, Florida. He's Corey Clark. I'm Aslan Hujavandi. We work for Warchant.com. Use that promo code again, FSU Dad. Get your Father's Day promotion. Lots of freebies to be had. Go to Warchant.com. Check it out. The Renegade Express continues, Corey, shall we?
Let's do it.
MFA 1169. What up, fellas? Great show. Appreciate the Daily Knowles talk. You guys are correct from last week. MFA are my initials. Born and raised in Los Angeles. I didn't even like college football until by sheer luck I saw some highlights of Charlie Ward in 1992. Became an instant Knowles fan when I saw the Kentucky Derby offense. Ward, Dunn, Kez, Brooks, and Abraham play. Mm-hmm. Donnie Abraham getting some love on the program. Clifton Abraham, sorry.
Who'd you say?
I said Donnie
Oh, I was
Abraham.
gonna say,
Clifton
all right.
Abraham, sorry. From Dallas Carter High School.
That's
of,
right.
Friday Night Lights fame.
Played with Jesse Armstead was on the team.
Yeah. He's got 3 questions for us. Here we go.
Okay, let's roll through them.
Taggart, going to run about 85 plays per game, we think. What do you think the breakdown will be? 55 run, 30 pass, 45 run, 40 pass? And do you think the Noles will have 2 1,000-yard rushers or 2 1,000-yard receivers?
Definitely, I think the chances are better for the former, 2 1,000-yard rushers. And I think if he had his druthers,
solid word,
55-30.
I agree as well. Yeah, a lot of consensus there. Number 2, under Fisher, seems like the defense he wanted was for defensive backs to blitz more. Will that continue under Harlan Barnett, or will he blitz more with the linebackers? I don't feel like
I know that happened a ton, that they blitz with the DBs. I know Ramsey would come and Joyner would come occasionally. But
when they made it count, brother.
Yeah, with Joyner especially. I don't know. I just don't know. I know the Michigan State defenses are physical and aggressive, and Harlan Barnett wants his DBs to be physical and aggressive. I don't know if that'll mean they'll be blitzing from the corner more, maybe more from the slot, but we'll see. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I'll be honest, I didn't watch enough Michigan State games to see.
And not to slander our environment, but I feel like there's probably more talent at the defensive back position than there's the linebacker position, so probably less will be put on the linebackers' plates, I would think. So I would expect defensive backs to blitz more. Then under Jimbo, I don't feel like we did a lot of blitzes. And when we did, it was just
right in the middle of the line, typically.
Final question from MFA 1169, just off the top. What are 1 or 2 things football field related you see that Blackman does better than Francois, and vice versa?
I think he throws a better deep ball.
Agreed.
Other than that, I mean, I feel like that. I mean, he sees over the defense a little better because he's tall.
True.
And I think he celebrates better.
Yeah, you're joking, but I feel like when Blackman's high, I like him more than when Francois is high. Francois is either sulking or he's just very neutral.
When he would always do that, when he'd run into the end zone himself, he'd have that.
Well, he did one time against the Gators.
And he did against Michigan, too, I think. He had one against Michigan.
Stomp and shout.
Yeah.
Get it all out.
I think Michigan. He had it a couple of times where he had celebrations like that. One thing that people forget about Francois, or I shouldn't say people, I do, he had some really great moments in 16 when it mattered, like Blackman did in 17, although they both ended up losing games. Like Francois, they were down 21-0 to North Carolina. Yeah. Came back to take the lead on a crazy run by him. Like, I feel like he got hit in the backfield, squirted through a guy, and then powered through another guy to score that go-ahead touchdown with 21 seconds left.
Sounds about right.
You know what I mean? He has the will when it matters. He showed the will as a freshman, redshirt freshman, a freshmore, to make plays when it mattered. So it's really encouraging for both of them. I would just say, to me, the one thing that sticks out is Blackman throws a better deep ball, and I don't think he misses high as much as Francois sometimes would just out of nowhere throw the ball 4 feet over a guy's head. I don't remember that too much with Blackman there at the end of the season.
Yeah, fair enough. I like that.
But again, the last 3 defenses Francois faced were Florida, Michigan, and Alabama.
A little bit better.
A little bit different quality of competition.
What we had there, going with Gators, Louisiana Monroe, and Southern Miss.
And before the Gators was Delaware State. Yeah, so.
Well, whatever, man. It's all about what you've done lately, right? Seminole War Chant. No A in War Chant. No A's at all in War Chant. It's War Chant. Seminole War Chant.
That's how somebody pronounced it to me yesterday. They were reading off my email address. I was trying to pay a bill.
Yeah.
And they go, okay, so it's Corey at Warchant? She goes, I'm sure I didn't spell that. I didn't say that right. I'm like, well, no, it's War Chant, but you were close enough. So,
yeah. At Corey Clark, I thought you said in the last podcast a win is a win, not that I care when Texas A&M was ever really relevant. That's all he said. I don't know. Well, maybe is that you talking about people rooting for A&M to beat the Gators, or
I don't know.
Yeah. I just want to let you know that we saw your comment or whatever. Maybe you want to clarify, we'll dive further into it.
But Texas A&M isn't relevant, hasn't been relevant in a long – maybe he was saying because I don't think any of it's relevant before integration in college football, like full integration. So maybe that's the
because you said a win is a win, and then
they did win in 1939. That does count.
Right.
But, again, it was pre-color TV.
BC Knowles 16. Guys, fellas, gentlemen, wake up. This is a Irish show fail, he says, telling Corey, I love you too, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Questions. Which home and home would you like to see on the schedule for football? Corey, you imagine that you can jump in an Austin Powers-like machine that transports you to the other team's home stadium when we have to make that return trip.
Okay, I can play that then.
I want Ole Miss. I want to take all my friends to Oxford, go to the Grove, party, and probably win.
No, that's not a bad one because I've never been there. That's one of maybe that would be on my bucket list too. Back to the other
it's
question.
Legit. It'll live up to go.
Yeah, man, I would say that one or Washington. I've always
What's with Washington?
I like Seattle.
What, you got your Birkenstocks on?
It's a cool city. I love coffee. You know that. Just because you can't find Starbucks anywhere, so I want to get into Seattle to try to get some of their home brewed coffee. But yeah, I would say Ole Miss is probably number one because I have never been there. Like Georgia, I think would be cool. I think it'd be cool. But I've been to both stadiums, so selfishly, I'd say Ole Miss.
Number 2, what fan base do you dislike the most outside of our normal rivals? For me, it's Alabama. There's not a close second. He is from Alabama, he says, so that makes sense. What fan base do I dislike most outside the normal rivals?
I kind of dislike them all.
The rant you had the other day about Northern Illinois was just fantastic.
Well, okay, there you go. There you go. That's it.
That was amazing. I just play that right now. Here's Corey from 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Northern Illinois probably still. I mean, honestly, when
Ohio State. I'm
Really?
from the Tampa area, and I remember a Buffalo Wild Wings had opened up next to like our childhood town, and all my friends would go watch the games at the Buffalo Wild Wings, and apparently that was like the Tampa Bay Buckeye Club watch spot. And they were just the most obnoxious fans ever. I mean, terrible. They literally they poured beer on one of our buddies' girlfriends and like an entire Donnybrook ensued. I can't stand Ohio State.
You got in a fight in a bar?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got a couple of those stories, buddy. We'll wait for July when it gets really slow.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't stand Ohio State.
But see, I feel like that's coloring your perception of the whole. It's a huge fan base, and that was just a pocket of idiots.
But we'd go there every week, and it was most of the same fans, but I just don't, Ohio State. Yeah,
I bet if you went to a game there'd be a lot of really pleasant people.
None of those gray skies and that dump of a stadium. Screw that place. Oh, we're going to dot the I. Hey, we're going to dot the I.
Well, that's
a stupid
That's
tradition.
a really bad one.
I can't. And people are like, you guys want your dotting of the I. What?
No, I would. I've lived my whole life without seeing the dotting of the I, and I hope I live the rest of my life without seeing it because it is really dumb. Like Florida State, there's an I in Florida. Go dot that thing. And you got Renegade. They should have Renegade. That should be the dot of the I in Florida State as the spear. That's cool. Not just some big fat tuba player twirling around and doing a split. Hey, we dotted our I, everyone. Wow. That brings me to tears.
Shout out to tuba players. That's a tough undertaking.
It is. I had a buddy that was a tuba player, but he was fat.
Final question from BC Knoll 16, getting kind of weird. Do you have any strange food likes or dislikes? For me, the thought of canned tuna makes me want to vomit, but seared tuna is my favorite, if done correctly. Strange food likes or dislikes. I don't like oysters, but man, you take me to New Orleans and give me charbroiled oysters, and I'm all about it.
Does anybody like oysters?
People love them. I don't know how.
But
just spit in a cup and then drink it.
Every time I see somebody eating oysters, and I do this too, you put it on a cracker and you load it up with everything. Almost like you can't actually taste the oyster. Yeah. You just taste the Tabasco sauce and the paprika.
It's the vessel to deliver the
so you can have some stuff on a cracker.
Gullet.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, God, that was a tasty oyster. That went down smooth. I didn't feel like snot at all when it was going down my throat.
A big question the kids have these days is pineapple, whether you put it on pizza or not. I am totally
I'm
against
not for that.
That's horrible.
I'm not for that. I'm trying to think of anything weird. I don't like potatoes. That's probably weird.
You're
right?
Irish, bro. Come on.
Scottish. Come on, get it right.
Oh,
I love tape.
Isn't that like intestines or something?
What?
Isn't that like...
No, just Scotch tape. I just love Scotch tape.
Haggis or something.
Haggis, yeah, which I've had that before, and it's disgusting. But, yeah, no, I don't like potatoes. Like a baked potato makes me... That guy talking about canned tuna, the thought of a baked potato makes me want to vomit.
You're crazy.
But I will eat French fries. Like skinny French fries, I can eat those. So that's probably my weirdest thing. But like I love calamari. I like escargot.
So do I, yeah.
Escargot, all that stuff I love. I just, for whatever reason, potatoes. So that's probably my weirdest one.
Escargot, swiftly, who run.
And I'm getting into sushi.
Oh, welcome to 1999.
I'm eating like sushi 4 times in the last 2 weeks, including a couple nights ago.
I love it, yeah. When I'm in the mood
what
for
do you go for? Because I started out with the California roll because it's easy. It's barely sushi. Yeah. And then I went to like a volcano roll the other night.
Yeah, I don't.
So I'm starting to step up a little bit.
I don't get too adventurous. Like I don't like.
You do the seaweed?
No, I need the rice on the outside. I don't like the sashimi or whatever. I don't like the raw on the outside. I go like California roll. I actually like anything that's like shrimp tempura in it, which is kind of cheating because it's cooked shrimp.
Right,
it's like fried shrimp in it. But it depends. Like if it's got if it's got the good combination of like tuna and like asparagus and like a cucumber and like
that's all you need, right?
Yeah, it's good.
The thing is, I'm never full after I eat.
Yeah, and then
an hour later, I'm like, man, I haven't eaten dinner yet. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's right, I had 12 pieces of sushi. Those were good questions by
solid BC Knoll 16. Welcome to the program, buddy. All right, let's step aside. Final segment for our radio listeners. I think we're gonna have to go overtime. We owe it to the people, Corey. We'll go quick though. It's 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Wake Up Warchant. I'll be right back after this.
You're locked in to Wake Up Warchant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back into the June 14th edition of Wake Up Warchant. June 14th, special day around here.
It's Flag Day.
It is Flag Day. We take that seriously around here. It's also a 1C Scott Clark's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Happy 35th, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Feels good. It feels good. I don't like how old I look for 35, but I look probably like I'm 42 or 43, but, I'm still keeping on, still kicking it.
You doing anything, any weekend getaway with the lady friend or anything?
No.
That
Brady,
you know of. Maybe she's surprised you.
No, Brady's in a baseball tournament again this weekend, so kind of takes away my June, which is fine. I like watching him play baseball. That's fun.
First world problems when you got your son in an all-star league in Georgia, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry your son's gifted at baseball.
Well,
everybody feel bad for Corey.
He's pretty good. They've run into some teams this year that are crazy good, so he's gotten to see the disparity between him and like the travel ball kids. It's a whole different ball game, which I don't know if I want my 9-year-old being that good. It's a little too much.
I would play like a happy birthday song to you, but I hate when people sing me happy birthday. It gives me anxiety. I don't like it. It freaks me out.
Yeah, no, and Stephanie was thinking about maybe we go out to dinner or something to celebrate, and, we could get a free cake or something. I'm like, yeah, man, I just don't want him to sing to me. I don't need a hat on my head.
Sing is worse.
Blowing a kazoo in my face.
All right, let's blow through as many of these as we can here on the radio and the podcast. The podcast will have an overtime segment where we'll get to everyone's questions most likely.
We have that many?
Man, we haven't even got to the phone lines, brother.
Oh, all right, well, let's go. Let's pick up the pace.
All right, JDog _20_8. What should I watch this summer until football comes back? I'll hang up and listen. Love you, Ira.
Yeah, I texted Ira about that. He says he never hears it, which I don't believe. I think he hears it and hangs up because he doesn't want to have to say it back. Yeah. I think I'm going to say it the next time he's on. I'm going to say it immediately, right away, like when you introduce him. Then he can't hang up. Then he's got a whole segment to record. I would say, on Netflix. I mean, I really like The Staircase. Is a new true crime show on there that I watched when it originally came out 10 years ago or 11 years ago, whenever it was. It's really interesting, and they got some new episodes. Handmaid's Tale, I've been watching on Hulu.
Okay.
Pretty dark, really dark. There's not a lot of light and laughter in that, but it's good. And just go with the true crime documentaries. The Robert Kennedy one's good. Making a Murderer is good.
I don't have a lot of shows. I don't watch a lot of TV outside of sports, but if you've never seen Narcos on Netflix,
really good.
Watch all those. They're coming out the new season.
And I liked the last season, even though it didn't have Pablo in it.
I did too.
And what's cool about it, to me anyway, is that when I start watching a show, if I'm sort of interested, I still have my phone out and I'll be texting someone or looking at Twitter. Well, you can't do that on Narcos because half of it's in subtitles.
Yeah.
It's not like my Spanish ear will be like, oh, I know what they're saying.
Which I like. I have trouble hearing, so I like subtitles. Also helps me keep it better in the game. Also, Fortune Fire is a corny little reality show where like people make knives out of steel. It's pretty cool on History Channel. Oh. And then also, I like Ink Master, which used to be on Spike Nuts Paramount Network. I don't have any tattoos. I can never commit to a tattoo, but it's still a pretty cool show, I think.
Okay.
So check those out. Noel Rick asks, after watching the softball team when it have so much fun doing so, I am looking forward to Willie's version of fun in the fall. Softball team had a nice combination of extreme toughness and focus, but still able to laugh at mistakes and celebrate success. What do you expect that to look like for football? Will it change if they struggle or lose?
Yes. You don't have as much fun, obviously, when you're losing. That's just how that turnover chain wasn't as cute the final 4 games of the season for Miami. It's just the reality of it. Yeah. But it's fun when you're winning. And I think there is a causation a little bit to, the more fun you have, the better you play. So, you just hope that when it's tight that they can still relax enough to make plays when it matters. But, we'll see. We'll see how it translates. They're completely different sports with completely different expectations. And just the pressures that come with college football as compared to college softball. Not that they're not under great pressure in Oklahoma City when they're playing for a championship, but there's just more, overwhelming pressure on a football field. So, I know
we're short on time. I don't want to get too far into the weeds on this, but how weird. I mean, for me, it was weird to watch the girls laugh when they're losing or committing an error, and you would see girls smiling and laughing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Huh? I can't.
It's odd, but it's I kind of wish, watching 9 and 10-year-old boys play baseball, I kind of wish there was some of that. Like, just, man, it's okay. Yeah. If you sail a ball so far over the first baseman's head it goes out of the field, that's kind of funny, So I would like them to not put so much pressure on themselves because I do think it helps, and I think it helps you flush it. Yeah. Like if you make a bad play and they all start joking with you about it, instead of just glaring at you, I think the weight comes off a little bit. Like, okay, you'll get the next one. Good try. Next time, try to keep it in the field. Just make a little joke and be done with it.
I expect to see just a lot of – I don't think it's going to change if they struggle just because I think this is so much of a foundational philosophical thing that Willie's putting in, that even week to week, even if you're losing, they're still going to come out bouncing around and having energy. I just think, when they make big plays, you're going to see more guys rally to the ball and rally to whoever made the plays and celebrate. And I think that's going to feed off the crowd, and the crowd will feed off on that.
It won't hurt. It can't hurt.
Yeah. Next question, Get Down Black. What's up, guys? Wake up. I was just curious, do they have a recruiting rank after all the recruits have enrolled in school? Some of these kids never have made it in, like the 2 kids from Georgia recruiting in 2018, their class. I think they should do that to see who has the top class based off enrollees. I wonder how much that would change. Thanks, guys. Great show as always. Go Noles. They do not do that.
They don't do that.
That is a good idea, though.
Yeah, sure. I mean, at the end of the day, 2 or 3 years is how you rank recruiting classes by what it says in the final polls. I do remember when you remember Callahan Bright?
Oh, yeah.
He got to
Bryn
count,
Mawr, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he got to count for Florida State's recruiting ranking right? 2 years in a row and never played it down. Like he probably pushed them from 11th to 7th 2 years in a row and then never played it down. So, yeah, I mean, that's Deshaun Platt. I mean, you go on and on with 5-star guys that didn't even make it in. So, yeah, I get it. What good is it to have a high ranking if some of the guys don't get in there? But, they don't do that. And I don't know that. I mean, it'd be smart for one of them to do it. Do one in September for the previous class. Okay, here's who made it in. Now we've readjusted.
I feel like at least for Florida State, it hasn't really been that big of a problem. Everybody that Jimbo had identified didn't make it on the campus.
Yeah, not recently. There's been maybe a couple, maybe that who was the Shavar Manuel, maybe?
Right. Yeah.
That's
him and then the Keon Joyner, actually, that kid too. That guy was he was number 1 on a couple other recruiting services. He was 4 stars on Rivals, and so was Shavar Manuel. So
yeah, a couple of them didn't end up making it, but yeah, most of them did.
Enol_2000. Morning, guys. This post is for nothing else other than the show that I am, in fact, not Steven Seagal. If there was ever a reason to change my avatar, that was it. #wake up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, if somebody says you look like Steven Seagal, man, it's time to go a different route in the avatar you're putting up there.
Yeah. One last question, and then we'll
not to impugn Mr. Seagal. He's done a lot of great cinematic work in our lifetimes.
One more question. We'll wrap it up on the radio side, and then we'll do a little OT. Maybe we'll get a couple questions that the callers had. Get Down Black comes back. Hey, guys, one more question about the rules change. What do you guys think the season would have looked like last year if this rule was in place? How do you think it will affect the team this season and seasons moving forward? Have a great day if you want to.
It doesn't hurt, but what just occurred to me is so I think part of the reason for this legislation is they see the writing on the wall with everybody skipping bowl games. It's just going to be it's going to become more and more of a factor where everybody's going to skip a quote unquote meaningless bowl game. So you got to replenish the roster. And instead of having 12, what Florida State have last year on defense that could actually play? 25 guys, 23 guys, 3 or 4 guys sitting out or injured because they didn't want to burn red shirts. Well, now you don't have to worry about that. So I think that's a really good thing. Is in these bowl games where guys are going to start sitting out, you're going to have 8 or 10 guys sitting out a bowl game. It doesn't hurt as bad because you have other guys, and it makes it kind of exciting. Like we get to see the freshman that we haven't seen all year, see what he's got to offer in this game that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any games that were so close. I'm trying to think of more the transfer rule thing. How many guys would have been in Jimbo's office in October been like, dude, I'm out of here? Do we see Tamori and Terry out there? I don't know if there's been a moment where
Terry could have helped in a couple of those games last year. I feel like watching him in April.
But it's like, does Jimbo not put them in there because he wants to save their eligibility, or does he feel like he just can't trust them, or like would he be more likely to have put them into a game? I don't know if that would have changed anything. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, all right, well, tomorrow's here. I don't want to waste the whole.
But it's just crazy. Yeah, I hear you. But it's like, okay, so you think your team is better served with that former walk-on running a post route than that freakazoid that's standing right next to you running that running that post.
Yeah.
But I understand. Hey, I don't want to burn his red shirt for a few plays a game. Yeah. Well, it's like, man, it might be worth it. And now you don't have to worry about that. You can play him those. He could have played against Delaware State and gotten meaningful reps. And then, you still wouldn't be risking a year of eligibility for that. And I think if this was in place last year, he probably would have played a little more. So would LeBourne.
Hey, Corey, have a great birthday if you want to.
Thank you, man. Have a great Flag Day. Be safe, everyone.
Yeah, that's it for everybody here on the radio side of things. We'll be back with an overtime segment for our podcast listeners. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Rate it 5 stars on iTunes, please. We'll be right back after this.
You're locked in to Wake Up Warchant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back, loyal, faithful podcast listeners. I apologize for leaving you stranded on your commutes the past few days, but we're back. We just did a full show, but we're not done quite yet. Overtime segment of the program starts now. Let's go to some listener questions, courtesy of our feedback line. Let's go.
Hello, guys. My name is Derek. I am currently stationed in Okinawa, Japan, active duty Marine Corps.
Wow.
I love the show, but here it comes on in the evening with the time difference. My questions for the team is, how many recruits are we expecting to sign this class and by position? Looking forward to coming home and catching the season opener against Virginia Tech. Thanks, and go Noles.
Awesome, dude. Look at that, man.
His name is Derek, right?
Derek, yeah.
Good work, Derek.
Yeah, appreciate that,
buddy.
man.
We appreciate you listening to us.
I can't tell you to wake up. Wind down.
Yeah, go to sleep.
Yeah, get in bed, buddy. How about we let Michael Langston maybe tackle this one tomorrow, Derek? Hopefully you listen daily. We'll get his idea. I
think they're trying. I mean, I don't know anything about the actual position, the breakdown of how many they're going to bring in, but I do think they want 2 quarterbacks,
yes,
right?
They do want 2 quarterbacks.
And they got one in the fold that they'd really like, but they're trying to get another one.
And I would assume, I think 25 is the limit they can sign these days. I would think they're going to be close to that limit of signing guys.
I'm sure they'll be in the 20s for sure. Yeah,
position-wise, though, they got to still feel pretty good about running back. I know they still want that Trey Sanders kid from IMG Academy. I would think maybe take only one running back. They're still going to have one more year of Cam and then LeBourne. But then it's tough to tell in terms of who's going to stay or go, if everyone's going to transfer out. But position of need, we've talked about a few times. Like linebacker, Corey's always pointing out offensive line. Till the end of time, you're always getting an offensive lineman. But I just feel like quarterback, they're going to definitely want to get 2, and then linebacker, just man, if you can play and you're rugged, like please come to Tallahassee.
Come to Tallahassee and get it done.
Yeah. Next question.
Hey Corey, hey Aslan. This is Ben Gregory representing Noel Nation City. With some of the success that Jesse Warren has got, and letting similar fans know about the women FSU players, I wanted to say, let you look up some of the stats of Dana Costello from the women's soccer team, and let everyone know about her success, because this is one of the best players the Seminoles have seen. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Ben Gregory.
So yeah, I've written a couple of stories on her. Dana Castellaneto. I'm not going to even try Castellanos, maybe. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name. She's from Venezuela, and she is legitimately one of the best under 20 female soccer players in the world. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of the top 10. She is incredible. And you need to go, just like I was saying this, I really was, maybe not on this show that often, but Jesse Warren was one of the best that's ever played at Florida State in any sport. Well, so is this woman. She also has like 1.2 Instagram followers, 1.2 million. She's a huge social media star. She's a really big deal in Venezuela, her home country. She's just a huge star down there, where she can't, if she walks down the street in Venezuela, or goes to a soccer match over there, she's surrounded. She's a
Bieber almost.
She's a huge deal. And she even said she likes being in Tallahassee because most people don't know who she is, and she can be kind of a normal kid. which is cool for her. But she's an incredible player, and she's played. This will be her junior year, and I would imagine probably her last year. Maybe she'll stay for all 4. I don't know if she gets her degree quickly, but she's going to be a pro player. She's played in the Under-20 World Cup. She's just awesome. So go watch her. I don't know her. I don't have her stats right in front of me, but she led them in scoring, and she's just, I don't know how else to say it. She's awesome. She's really, really good.
50 years of intercollegiate athletics at Florida State, women's intercollegiate athletics coming up this season. So,
it's a good way to celebrate.
Yeah, man.
I actually have a friend whose daughter is a really good soccer player. She's like 12 or 13, and I told him, man, you got to come down. You've got to come down and watch them play a couple times. You just have to. It'd be good for your daughter to see this, to have somebody, because there aren't a ton of, girls soccer players. They don't have a ton of famous people to look up to that are other women. It's usually they're looking up to the Messis and the Ronaldos, especially with the World Cup that's about to happen. So it's cool for her to have somebody to look up to.
Do you have any World Cup predictions?
I mean, the U.S. probably gets to the semifinal. Oh, wait, they're not in it. They didn't make it. No, Brazil. Is Brazil going to be good this year?
Probably.
They're probably going to have some players, right?
Yeah. I can actually probably guilt-free cheer on my mother and father's home country.
Here's a trivia question for you. See how much you know about soccer. I assume you'll get this. But what's the number, like the number that all the badasses wear in soccer? Most of them.
10.
There you go. All right, just making sure. Who started that? Do you know? Is it Pele? Did Pele wear 10?
I don't think
he was
think
9
Pele
or 8
was,
or something.
I know it might have been Maradona. I think Maradona. I know that I wanted 10. I think I actually wore number 10 the first year I played soccer.
Oh, you played
Maradona.
soccer. That doesn't count then.
But
that was for everyone else, guys. Now you can impress people at the bar by knowing that number 10 is what all the badasses wear, and I think that's what Dania wears at Florida State.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I do see pictures of Pele.
Was it 9?
He's got 10 on in a bunch of these photos.
Oh, there you go.
So maybe he probably started. He's the OG.
By the way, Maradona, the hand of God goal from the 86 World. Have you seen the other goal he scored in that game? Or the other goal?
The legit goal.
Where he goes through England, the whole team?
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
Amazing.
Guys, I'm not a soccer fan. I know you couldn't tell that from this conversation because I sound like an aficionado. But go look that up. Go look up Maradona 1986 World Cup. That one goal is insane.
Yeah. They say that might have been not that goal, but they're saying that might be one of the best goals ever. But they say that's probably the single best performance by any one player in a World Cup ever.
Yeah. Viva la Argentina.
Yeah, and then remember '94 in America, he was tearing it up, and then he got busted for using amphetamines. And then,
what are you gonna do?
It's perfect. Next question.
Hey, what's up, buddies? How's it doing, Corey? I wanted to point one thing out to you. And by the way, my name's Eric, up in Connecticut. Nose fan, up in New Haven, Connecticut. I wanted to point one thing out to you. Go back to 2011 and look at Clemson 2011. 2011, if I'm correct, Clemson had a new coordinator, Chad Morris. They was running a new system with a new quarterback, and Taj Boyd, who never started, and the whole bit. Look at their 3 games that they had to play in the new system, new quarterback, but with a spread system, up tempo. They play Auburn, Virginia Tech, and Florida State, and beat all 3. So I just try to tell guys, it can be better than we even think it could be.
All right. That's fair. 2011. That was Chad Morris's first year.
Connecticut?
New Haven,
Man,
Connecticut.
We're all over the world. This is awesome.
Okay, now
Connecticut.
I
didn't hear what the second guy, the
he said something,
question.
so he got clipped off somewhere. Yeah, I couldn't tell either. Maybe if I say his phone number out loud.
I assume it was Alaska.
I think it was like a 917 area code. I don't know where 917 is.
I'll look that up. You
right.
You go talk right
So
now.
2011, Clemson, yes, first season under Chad Morris. They go 10-4. They win the Atlantic, but they lost. Actually, no, they won the ACC. They beat Virginia Tech, who was number 5.
917 is the boroughs of New York City.
Oh, look at that.
Well, look at us.
He
Anybody
said something
from Florida?
city. You got clipped off. It might have been New York City, guys, so we're everywhere. Yeah. Was that Tosh Boyd's first year, though? I don't know. I think, yeah. He went,
he was,
he started.
And he played in 13 as a senior. So, yeah, I guess he started as a sophomore.
Why not us? Why not us?
Again, True, I got it. I get that, and Florida State does have the talent. They don't have a Sammy Watkins and a DeAndre Hopkins out wide like that Clemson team did. That helped. But yeah, man, it's
and
not,
Andre Ellington at running back.
But I mean, I think they have a guy that they have.
But
guys
Cam
that
Akers is better than that.
Ellington, but they don't have those. They don't have wide receivers like that because who does?
Martavis Bryant too. They had Barnes.
I mean, it was crazy.
Adam Humphries, who's catching passes from Jameis in Tampa.
I mean, they had 4 legit NFL guys. 2.
Dwayne Allen is a tight end.
Yeah, I mean, they had plenty of talent. But also, remember that game, Florida State almost won with Trickett and only like 2 healthy wide receivers. So they weren't great that year, but they were good enough to beat, I think they beat Auburn and Florida State at home.
They did, correct. Look at you, man.
And the Auburn game was a low-scoring one, wasn't it?
It was not. It was 38-24.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, guys. Oh, I let you down there, didn't I? I
No,
thought
it's
for
fine.
some reason that was like a 20-13 game.
They lost to Georgia Tech 31-17. They lost at NC State 37-13 and at South Carolina 34-13.
Yeah, so
And they lost their bowl game against West Virginia. That's when they got 70 hung on.
Oh, man, that's right.
Kevin Steele lost
boy.
his job.
Yeah. So, yeah, the defense was let them down a little bit. But the offense also struggled. The offense also struggled in some of those games, only 13 points. I think that's where that will happen some this year, but the Florida State offense isn't going to put up 40 points.
That's bizarre, though. It happened against Tech and NC State.
Both on the road, right? I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
And South Carolina. Those are all on the
different
road.
on the road, man. And those that's the one thing about those offenses. They can get at home when everybody's quiet, letting you call your plays and run up to the line real quick. It can be easier, but it's always harder on the road to get into that rhythm. So that's something we got to see about Florida State. But yeah, but what did they finish? They finished with 3 losses. I think we all agree that
4 losses because they lost their bowl game too.
I feel like we agree that Florida State can have a similar season to that.
I was about
better
to
than
say
that. And they can do better than that.
I think that's your target right there.
Yeah.
I really think so. I mean, you want to win the ACC. I mean, if you go 10-4, but then you start parsing what are the losses? What if the one loss?
And I don't know that you can,
but I don't think you can go lose
2011
3 games.
ACC is different than 2018
You can't lose 3
ACC.
games. You can't lose 3 and win.
You couldn't come close. They lost 2 conference games and still got there. There's no way that I don't believe that this Florida State team can lose 2 conference games and still get to the ACC championship game because they are now in the same division as the second best program in the country.
Yeah, and Louisville wasn't even around back then.
Right. So it's a different landscape, the ACC now. But yeah, man, you sure that was early on in the season they won those games. Florida State had a good defense in 2011, and they kind of lit them up a little bit.
Yeah, put 30 points on them, man.
Yeah,
not messing around. All right. Was that it? Yeah, no, it's not it. Next question.
Hey, guys, it's Jared from Mobile again. Listen, I just want to clarify before I get to my question. Aslan, I think you're doing a really good job, man. I really enjoy listening to you guys each morning, and I hope that didn't sound like a slight last week whenever I called.
You're good, buddy.
Anyway, I just wanted to ask you guys what y'all think about the fact that nobody's really talking about the fact that Jimbo and his staff completely stopped recruiting. And as somebody who follows the Noles and their recruiting habits and everything, pretty closely, I think that people are kind of overlooking a little bit the fact that he just up and quit on us as far as trying to get new people in here. I mean, Justin Fields is one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in years, and we didn't even have a shot because he decided to mail it in. I'm just wondering why you guys think that is, and why is it just because people want to neglect the fact that he quit on us, or is it out of respect to Willie Taggart? They don't want to keep talking about Jimbo, or I just want to know what y'all think, because to me it kind of seems like people are overlooking the fact that he just completely gave up recruiting. So thanks again, guys. Like I said, I'm a huge fan. I'm hoping to keep calling in and getting on the show and getting my questions to you guys, and I really do appreciate it, and y'all keep doing a great job. All right, go Noles.
Thanks, Jared. Yeah.
Now that he's not ripping you every second, you'll probably get on the show more, man.
I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like, are we overlooking it? Are we glossing over the fact that he stopped recruiting?
Well, because when it comes to something like recruiting, that's all behind a curtain. We get to see if a team quits or doesn't play well on a Saturday. We saw every Saturday, or in one case a Friday night, where his team was and where his focus was, and it wasn't apparently on the Florida State program like it should have been because they weren't any good. Recruiting, that's all behind the scenes. We don't, we heard stories that they stopped recruiting Justin Fields and they didn't recruit him well, and the recruiting had fallen off a cliff, and that assistants weren't going out as much as they used to. But there's no tangible proof of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's harder to really comment on that. But yeah, according to people that took over, there was a lot of uphill work for Willie to do when he got here. I don't know why Jimbo did that. I guess, it lends credence to the fact that he was pretty sure he was leaving. He didn't want to be here anymore. And why waste? Because recruiting can be hard, man, and it can be a pain in the butt. And why do that? Why go through all that and talk to these kids and be on the phone all the time and go visit them and have them visit you if you know you're not going to be here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Plus, also, he had a lot of work to do on the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like his team was in a spiral. So, he maybe he was just putting all his. I don't think Jimbo was just going home at 6 o'clock and hitting golf balls for 3 hours. I think he was trying to make the team a winner. But, maybe he wasn't really looking into the future that much because he was so worried about the 2017 actual team.
No, I think he was just done.
Probably.
That was the one thing I think that Gene Williams floated out during the Jimbo Chronicles was that there was a belief that he told them, like, stop recruiting, just focus on winning games right now. We're we're taking on water in this boat. Let's not worry about our next cruise. Let's just get this boat back safe to harbor. I think actually this works out both ways in terms of that. I think this added a whole nother level of like kerosene to the fire that was burning when he left. When that started coming out that he stopped recruiting, when guys started saying they stopped hearing from him. And
is kerosene and gasoline the same thing?
I don't think so. You don't put kerosene in your car.
Right. So, but they're both obviously
flammable.
both really flammable.
Yeah.
All right.
I think kerosene's, I feel like maybe it's the viscosity is a little thicker. So maybe if it.
A little viscous?
But I think the fact that Taggart was able to recruit so well, they closed with a top 10 recruiting class that ultimately a lot of folks are like, well, we're okay. I know there's no quarterback in that recruiting class that he signed in 2.5 weeks, the magic that he worked. But I think the fact that if Florida State would have finished 37th in recruiting, I think a lot more people would be talking about it.
Correct.
But I think ultimately
they finished top 10 or 9 or something?
Ultimately that he salvaged the class, I know there's no quarterback, so maybe if they're having problems in 2 or 3 years, maybe this will come back up. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, he signed a good recruiting class, so people are like, all right, well, in some ways, like no harm, no foul. But no, I think that turned, I think, a lot of the discussion. I remember on Warchant and even me, where I'm like, man, I really don't want to lose this guy. But when I'm like, well, geez, that's low, man. You can't do that. You can't just up and. I understand with like maybe 1 or 2 weeks, like in November, you shut it down. But they were talking about like September, October. He just no home games they had like no official visitors like in the last 3 or 4 home games I think of the year.
Yeah, that's part of that
crazy.
Was they were playing noon games and against Delaware State, and you in front of 45,000 people is not really the best. You don't want to show off that version of yourself. But yeah, man, it was a debacle from start to finish in 2017, and what Willie did, again, it's Florida State, so it's not that hard to recruit here, obviously. It's hard in 5 weeks to recruit like he did, and he just completely knocked it out of the park, better than maybe anyone in the country would have in that short amount of span to salvage a class. Not only salvage it would be 22nd. Mm-hmm. He ended up with one of the best classes in the country in 5 weeks. It's remarkable. That's, again, I'm not going to go into it. Y'all know how I feel about him as a recruiter, but that's why this thing is going to be a juggernaut. Because he showed what he could do in 5 weeks.
Pulling in kids from California, Georgia. Yeah. Not messing around. Hey, birthday boy, check it out. Last question.
Corey and Aslan, it's Gibby again. What's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Wake up.
Yeah.
So my question this week is, how much better can this offensive line get this upcoming season? That's really everyone's weak point of the team. And Corey, I know that you were upset that I did not give an NBA take last week, so here it is for you. LeBron is leaving Cleveland. It's going to end up either being a reunion back in Miami with Dwayne Wade and another member of the Banana Boat crew, or he takes it out to L.A. with Paul George, and wait for it, they would then trade for Chris Paul, too. Keep it up, guys. Good work.
Yeah, Maxwell Gibbs.
That's a very in-depth NBA take.
If you're new to the program, Maxwell Gibbs is a proud member of the Greek community at Florida State. We thought we playfully poked fun at the dance marathon, which is a huge philanthropic endeavor.
That was him, right? That was upset. Even though we weren't making fun of them.
I guess I kind of was.
I was just saying that maybe do it a different day when there's not a basketball game going on.
I'm like, why are you dancing? Like, how does that work? Like, I'm going to give me money, I'm going to dance? But no.
Hey, don't anger him again.
No, he's back on the team.
Slow down.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
We got him back on our
great.
side.
We're helping so many kids. I mean, they really are. Not me. I'm not the one doing it, but it helps out so many deserving kids that are battling things. So it really is a cool thing. Thanks for putting us in our place. I'm always about being put in my place. Yeah, I think they're saying LeBron.
What was his first question?
Who cares? He wants to talk about Florida State football. Back to LeBron.
Okay.
He wants to get LeBron. I think the hubbub. I'm a Laker fan, kind of low key. I mean, we've been so terrible for 5 years. My parents moved to America, and there was a guy named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar playing football or basketball for a team. So they naturally grew. And they were on the
guy from
West
Airplane,
Coast.
the
Correct,
co-pilot
exactly.
in Airplane. Okay,
Bingo.
I remember him.
Bingo. They're saying LeBron and Chris Paul. They'll give the max contracts to probably, and then they might be able to get Paul George in some sort of sign and trade. Which
the Lakers.
Sick. Yeah.
Yeah, but why would Paul's still got to be in Houston for another year, right? He's not a free agent, is he?
I think he has an option. I think he might have a player option.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
To the offensive line.
Great, man. I was hoping the Lakers would be good again.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
It really has.
I know they've only got 18 or 19 world
15,
championships. Is that what it is?
I think maybe that might be a little too
So
much.
that's cool, man. I hope they get LeBron. That would be awesome for everyone.
All right. How much better can the offensive line get?
Some of the Clippers, at least. You can
What's
still live in L.A.
He was already on the Clippers.
But LeBron hasn't been.
Oh,
Go
no.
give the Clippers a chance to win a title.
Screw the Clippers.
Why would you want to go to L.A. anyway? Because you won't be the best player they've ever had. Now, statistically, you might end up being the best player that ever played for the Lakers, but you won't be the best Laker. Magic, Kareem are the best Lakers. Kobe is the best Laker.
He's going to sleep better at night. He's going to be better on his deathbed. He's like, I can die knowing I was the best player in Clippers history.
Yeah. They're going to raise my number to the rafters. They're going to raise 30. What would even? You ain't going to raise 23 in L.A. if he only plays there for 2 years.
If he wins 2 rings, they will.
Screw that.
It's been a long time. Our offensive line.
It has been. I'm sorry. All the
offensive line. So I actually did ask Willie in Sarasota. It was. You're going to have to train me on this because
how to ask questions.
Yeah, we walk a fine line because I've never worked a beat, so I can't be my normal abrasive self.
No, you can't be. Yeah, you kind of deal with these people all the time.
Yeah, so I have to be nice, and I have to go. And every question was just, Willie, how does it feel like to be home? How do you like home? What's your favorite part of being home?
Who are you impressed? Who's that impersonation?
Whoever was in Sarasota with me asking questions. We
Okay.
didn't talk anything about football. I drove 5 hours to talk to a football coach about nothing involving football.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, about Josh Ball, real quick. Can we talk about Josh Ball, coach? He did say he was surprised, and that's all I can say about it, is what he told me. He told us. I asked him the question.
Right.
But we'll be fine, he says. He's like, we'll be fine. He's like, we've worked enough guys there. But I'm like, did it catch you by surprise? And he's like, yeah. He's like, that's all I can really tell you about it. And that's your starting right tackle, left tackle? Left tackle was going to be left tackle.
Starting lineman, for sure.
But, Willie said, I think it was to the crowd, he's like, we're going to be better on offensive line. He's like, we will be better. But, I think you guys were a little bit overly critical about the other lines because, you can't have 4 1,000-yard rushers, and have a bad offensive line. He's like, we just got to get better protecting the quarterback and getting the ball out of their hands quicker, which I think is probably a huge point of contention for a lot of people that had with Jimbo towards the end. The whole time, really. Yeah,
well, and that's true. Not all of it was on the line. Both Francois and Blackman, which they were both freshmen, held on to the ball too long sometimes, and their offensive linemen made them pay when they would do that. So, yeah, it wasn't – the offensive line wasn't an embarrassment. It was just – there would be so many moments where they would just – it seemed like they would get kind of physically manhandled in pass protection. Just seemed like it sometimes. They would be overwhelmed. And you would think in a place like Florida State that wouldn't happen. And it can't happen anymore. You can't lead the country. I don't care if he holds onto the ball for, 7 seconds is too much. But, you can't be one of the worst. You can't give up more sacks than almost anyone in the country at Florida State. You can't do it. Plus, it's not like they were throwing 60 times a game. Jimbo isn't that kind of coach. They don't even call 60 plays in a game. So they're not, he's only dropping back 28 times and he's getting sacked 5 times. That's just too many. Some of them were the quarterback's fault. He'd hold on the ball too long. Many of them weren't. And so that's got to get fixed. But he's right. It also helped that you had some pretty elite talent at running back. Not all those Dalvin Cook runs were opened up 80-yard holes where he just sprinted through them like Warwick Dunn in the 90s. It was
a couple of them, though.
A couple of them were, yeah, sure. A couple of them were really well-designed plays. So, by the way, a guy tweeted at me. I think he was at the Atlanta booster stop on Tuesday.
Okay.
After the Sarasota one, and he had his kid. I guess he had his kid. Maybe his kid asked on his own, but he stood up and asked Willie Taggart during the Q&A, who would he cheer for if Florida played Texas A&M.
Really?
The sound the crowd. He sent it to me on Twitter. Chandler Yount, or I assume that's how you pronounce the last name, Yount, like Robin. The sound the crowd makes is really funny. They just kind of, there's like this that's a really interesting question. And then Taggart's answer was,
hold on, let's say I can probably pull it up.
Florida versus Texas A&M football game. Who would you root for?
Excuse me,
if it was a Florida versus Texas A&M football game.
I'm not even watching that game.
I'm not even watching that game?
Yeah,
Is that what
I wouldn't
said?
even watch that game. That's a good answer. It's a funny answer. I think we agreed that the answer is you'd still root for Texas A&M. I think most Florida State fans agree that you'd still root for Texas A&M to beat Florida.
Absolutely.
And there's just a couple of different contexts where if like Florida's 8-4, and it would keep Texas A&M from winning.
I still don't care.
The SEC.
No.
Yeah, I think. Hey, man, I disagree.
Why would you care
Let's
if Jimbo
see.
Fisher wins a national title, Texas A&M?
You don't want him to have any success. That's why. He left
Because
you.
he won us an.
He left you. You want him to,
It's like leaving you for another lady.
and you want the lady to be ugly.
Yeah.
You don't want her to die.
Yeah.
You just want her to be ugly and awful.
I was thinking about this. There should be a reality show where they put like the coach who just left the program and the coach who took over for him like in a room, and they have to like have awkward conversations or something.
Yeah,
I'd love to see like Willie and Jimbo just in a room. Just, hey man, how's it going?
Or Jimbo and Kevin Sumlin.
Oh yeah,
That'd be a good one too.
all three of those guys.
Yeah, just hanging out.
And then maybe Mario Cristobal. Like,
Cristobal, yeah.
Cristobal. What about me? No one cares.
Charlie Strong. Everybody starts getting in on the mix with all the jobs Willie's left.
All right, hey man, have a great birthday, bro.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks.
Maybe we should grab and get drinks sometime. We've never hung out outside of work.
All right.
No, it's awkward. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. We'll see you guys on Friday. Have a good one.
The Sod Cemetery, Osceola and Renegade, and of course, the War Chant. These are great traditions known to all Seminole fans. If you are a card-carrying, garnet and gold-wearing Nole, don't you deserve a site that is truly dedicated to covering FSU sports? Warchant.com staff has over 50 years of experience covering the Seminoles. Warchant.com is the only FSU outlet with a full-time recruiting analyst in Tallahassee. Plus, it's the only site with a full-time videographer and a daily podcast, 100% dedicated to FSU sports. Why act like Gators and settle for second best? Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.